Hey, what is going on, guys? My name is Slcmof. I'm back again with another video, and in this one I'm going to be talking about the Telltale Batman game, which comes out this summer. May I mind you, summer is only 2 months away. Now, granted, it could very well be 4 months away, the game itself, but nonetheless, summer itself starts in 2 months, so theoretically we could get the game in 2 months. Realistically, I would expect July in terms of release, so that's about 3 months away, but nonetheless, in 3 months, we're going to be actually playing Telltale Batman, or, approximately 3 months, so let's just get right into it. And for the record, again, in the future, I will be trying to do this series every other week, rather than every other month, as I did with the Q&A number 1 and 2. Okay, let's get right into it. Question number 1 comes from Champion West. He says, for the next Q&A, if not already asked, which it's not because I took your question, okay, which characters do you think we will be able to play as in the game? Now, this is an interesting question. My experience with Telltale games, you generally only play as the character in which you are prescribed, and because this is a Batman game, we will be playing as primarily Batman. Now, there are exceptions to this. In Tales from the Borderlands, you alternate between the perspectives of 2 separate characters. That is an anomaly, though. That story, it really does focus on both of those characters, and essentially the story is told in the past, so you're in the present, and the story is told through flashbacks, and you play through flashbacks to tell the story, which is an interesting way to do it, and really brilliant in my personal view. So that is kind of the only exception here. I think that larger part, and maybe even for 100% of the game, we'll be playing as Batman entirely. Gaming Bunny asks, do you think that there will be more cutscenes than there is to gameplay, or will it vary? The thing about cutscenes in Telltale games is that it's really dependent upon your view of what a cutscene is. In my personal view, there are no cutscenes in Telltale games, because a cutscene, in my view, again, is you viewing a certain scene going on in the game, and you're not interacting with that. You're just watching. You're watching that scene unfold. So that's my view of a cutscene, and thereby, in Telltale games, there is no such thing. Whether it's a dialogue scene, whether it's an action scene, you're never just watching something, always interacting. At any point, a dialogue option could come up and you have to pick what to say, and maybe even within a 0.5 second window, you have to pick your response. So with that being said, I really don't think there's such a thing as a cutscene in a Telltale game, because you're playing and interacting with the game the entire time. There's no such thing, really. Let's go into Happy Days, who asks, hey Slikk, do you think that the Batman Telltale game will have more comic book style visuals like the one in the reveal trailer? And as I said, look here, it was taken a month ago. So ever since the reveal, where they tease a little bit of it, they talked about how this game is going to look like a comic book. They're not going for a super realistic feel. They don't want to trick you into thinking that, it's a real world aesthetic. They want you to feel like you're playing through a comic book. So that's really the answer to your question. It's going to have a comic book like visual. You're going to feel, hopefully, that you're playing through a comic book, which is really exciting to me. Thank you very much for your question, dude. Rayanne Plays, I believe is how you say it. Ryan, maybe you just add an extra A there to be a hipster at the end of that double Y. Okay, he asks, do you think that most Arkham fans will like this game? This is a great question, coming from a, YouTuber that has a lot of subscribers that have been interested in the Arkham games. My answer to this is absolutely yes. Not only do I think that Arkham fans will like the game, I think that they will love it, especially because Arkham fans are Bat fans. And if you are a fan of Batman, I think you'll love the game, but even more so, people that are not Batman fans will also love the game, in my estimation and experience with Telltale games. I've played the Tales from the Borderlands Telltale game. I've never played a Borderlands game in my life, and I really, really enjoyed that one. I know people that have never read a Walking Dead comic book, never seen the Walking Dead television show, that played the Walking Dead Telltale game and really, really enjoyed it. So these games have a really mass market appeal, but at the same point, they are very true to the source material. This game is being produced by somebody named CJ. I can't quite remember his last name, and he talks about some of his inspirations of the Telltale game, and one of his 5 inspirations mentioned in an interview with Naomi Kyle on IGN was the actual Arkham Batman. So the Batman from the Arkham games is going to be infused into this Telltale Batman in the same way that other Batman, whatever, from, the comics and other interpretations of the character are going to be melded in. And a lot of other people have been asking me, which Batman is this going to be like? Is it going to be like the Batman from 1989? Is it going to be like the Nolan Batman? It's going to have a variety of influences, and it's really going to encompass the entire history of the character, and it's just going to be a very comic accurate and the interpretation of the character that's accurate to the canon and faithful to that character. But he also mentioned a ton of other iterations of Batman that are also going to be influenced and infused to the game, that it's really going to just just encompass the character's 75-year history and be faithful to the canon and to the comics and also to, you know, the games and that kind of thing. And I think that all Bat fans are going to love it. Absolutely. Arkham fans all the way down to comics fans are going to absolutely love this game. I'm 100% confident in that. Lindsay Staten, who actually recognized that name from Twitter, she asked, do you think that it would be rated mature? Not Arkham Knight mature, but actually use language like F-bombs or nudity or gore. So she's saying even more mature than the Arkham games, which didn't really use that. That would be a little disappointing if they did it, just because kids probably won't play it as much as adults. The thing about this is that it will be mature, first of all, to answer your question, Lindsay, and it will have F-bombs and nudity and gore. And it will be more mature than the Arkham games, and it will be rated M. So the thing is here, if you are a kid and you're concerned about not being able to play the game, and I'm presuming that you've, in watching my channel, have been able to play Batman Arkham Knight, then you will be able to play this game just because your parents probably let you play mature games. But do keep in mind, this game is a little bit more edgy. It will be more edgy. There will be, F-bombs riddled throughout, and there will most likely be nudity and gore. And that just kind of follows suit from previous Telltale games. Again, this is going to be a little bit more edgy from the comics and other interpretations of Batman. And Arkham Knight, it does have a little bit more of a broader appeal, and they actually tried to get a T rating on Batman Arkham Knight. The flashback scenes unfortunately gave it an M rating, but they really pushed for that game to be T. It's obvious in the fact that they, when Oracle shot herself, they tried to hide it, with the Joker getting in front of her. So they really, really wanted to get that game T. This game is going to be unapologetically M. That's going to be the difference that you're going to notice. There's going to be language, and there's going to be nudity, and there's going to be gore. And Batman's going to be really scary. He's going to kick some ass and break bones, and it's going to be awesome, but I can understand some of your concerns that some younger audiences aren't going to play it as much. The good news is that Telltale does have a variety of games that I think, match the needs of younger audiences, such as the Minecraft games. But, really, retrospectively looking at what games I enjoyed the most from Telltale, The Wolf Among Us, The Walking Dead Season 1 and 2, these are mature games, and I think that they have really mastered that dark and gritty formula of storytelling. And if you loved, again, the Arkham games and that kind of thing, I think you're going to love this one as well. But it will be a little darker, so just do keep that in mind. So, I picked this question because it is a hot topic, especially with Batman v Superman having coming out. Scotty asked Q&A, will Batman kill? Very simple question, 4 words. And the answer to me is that I hope that they give us the choice. I hope that they give us the choice where we can choose whether to kill or not to kill based off of our moral presumptions internally, based off of our moral presumptions of what we think Batman should have, or most importantly, I think really is in the, the heat of the moment, in the moment of situation. And I suppose that they would probably put us in a situation with, like they did with Arkham Knight with Ra's al Ghul, where you have the choice to, if you save somebody or choose not to kill, it may have a negative outcome, or maybe if you choose not to kill, it actually is better that way if you stay in line with Batman's moral code. The thing is that Telltale, they make you double guess your choice, and that's just a little tip in my experience playing Telltale games. You always double guess yourself, and the second time when you double guess yourself, you're probably wrong. So just go with your gut instinct playing Telltale games. So anyway, guys, that is it for Telltale Batman Q&A number 2. If you guys enjoyed, feel free to give it a thumbs up, and we will see you in the next one. Of course, if you leave a comment and it has a question that I find intriguing and not answered or asked yet up to this point, then I will definitely include that in the Q&A. Hope you guys enjoyed. My name's Slikmof, and we'll see you in the next one.